The reality is you spend your life striving for approval, whether it's from God or other people or even yourself. And I had somebody in the first service, before the first service started, say, because we were telling a story, and they said, are you kind of a people pleaser? And I'm like, man, I used to be, but I am absolutely not anymore, because I love a lot of things. I care about a lot of people, but there's some things I just don't care about, and I'm not a people pleaser. You don't need to live your life trying to win the approval of God, of others, and the person you see in the mirror. That's not what your life was meant for. It's meant for so much more than that. And a life free from that is just so much more powerful and effective, and I want to free you from that. And you spend your life maybe looking for approval from God, from other people, from yourself, and you just keep wondering, can my good works or my religious efforts or my self-sacrifice be enough? And let me just tell you the truth. It's not. It's not enough. This is why I will avoid prosperity preaching to tell you what you need to hear. Listen clearly. If you hear nothing else I say today, listen to this. You aren't enough. That's not the goal. It's not about whether you're enough. In fact, that's not even the right question. You can just remove that question from your vocabulary. Did you hear me? It's not about if you're enough. That's the wrong question. Did you hear me? You're not, because you're not. If you want the answer to the question is going to hurt your feelings. You're not enough. You're not enough. You're not enough. You're not strong enough, smart enough, powerful enough. You're not brilliant enough. You're not enough to accomplish the things you're trying to accomplish. Now, what am I not saying? Am I saying that you're ugly and dumb and weak and pathetic and horrible? No, I'm not saying that. You're beautiful. You're wonderful. You're wonderfully made. You bear the image of God, made in His image by His design. You are His lovely child. You have brilliance and strength and awe and wonder. There's all these great things that you are, but as great as you are, what you are is not enough to accomplish the eternal purposes and fill that void that you're trying to. That's why you always fail to be the deliverer of you, because you're great, but great isn't what you need. You need perfect. Amen, Restore Church? This is why we find rest in Jesus. Rest in Jesus. And by the way, you're not enough. Guess what? That's why Jesus came, to be enough for you. To be enough for you. And so I do this message, and I think, it sounds like we'll get to the later point. I might actually skip a point because we're just going off the hook right now. But there's this point in the message I'll get to later. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But where it's almost, you can leave this sermon almost making it sound like I'm saying, well, stop trying. Because Jesus is so great, stop trying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, listen, bring your best. If you're a beast, be the absolute beast, most beastly beast you can be. If you're a high performer, then perform higher than anybody else who's ever performed anything in their life. Crush it. Crush it to the glory of God. Crush it. Kick butt, take names, all of the stuff, all that jazz. Do it, do it, do it. Be amazing. Live up to your potential. Grow, strive, thrive, all this stuff. Do it. But then when that reaches its limit, right? When you reach the limit of how awesome God made you to be, that's where it stops. That's where it stops, and that's where rest begins. It stops where you reach your limit, and then you trust God to fill in the rest. You trust God to fill in the gap, because that's why Jesus came. Amen, Restore Church? Revelation 5:9 declares that Jesus' blood has ransomed people from every nation and every language, every corner of the earth, and His sacrifice wasn't just for a select few. It was for the entire world, whosoever calls upon the name of the Lord. And so I tell you this, and then we'll actually move on to the next point. If you've been carrying the weight of trying to prove yourself worthy, whether to God or to others or to yourself, Jesus is calling you to lay that down and rest in His worthiness.